Okay, I'll call to order a meeting of the Affordable Housing Trust for June 30th, 2020. And I have to read the statement. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the meeting law, general law, chapter 30A, section 18, and the governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Affordable Housing Trust will be conducted via remote participation. Specific information, the general guidelines for participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend the meeting can be found on the town's website at www.northandoverma.gov. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to listen to the meeting may do so on their televisions by tuning to Comcast Channel 8 or Verizon Channel 26 or online at www.northandovercam.org. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted in the event that we are but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately assess the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the Town of North Andover website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Okay. Can't wait till we can meet in person again.
Question, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, George. Yeah, we can hear you.
Can't hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay. And then also, I don't see my picture.
It's up in the upper right-hand corner. Look in the upper right-hand corner of your screen.
Well, there's a green circle with a C. I assume that's Cam.
Yeah.
We can see your video too, though.
You can see me, huh?
Yeah.
So behave yourself, George.
Well, yeah, I was going to say it. So I don't get a chance to see what I look and dress myself up, huh?
So you're up in the upper right-hand corner. You don't see your picture up in the upper right-hand corner next to your name?
No, all I do is I see yours, and I saw Rogers a minute ago, but now he's disappeared. And I can't scroll anything. In the past, when I've been on meetings like this, I've been able to scroll to see. I mean, not all the pictures appear on the screen at the same time, but I could scroll to anybody. And I can't scroll. And and when I put it in, well, I'm sorry. I mean, I can hear you, and if you can hear me, I guess that's
Yeah,
good.
I'm just on the phone, George. We can operate just on audio if that's okay.
No, I know, but I'm not on the phone, so I don't understand why.
So George, so if you look on the bottom of the screen, there's a thing that says turn on captions, present now. And then next to that, there's three little dots, right?
Right.
Click on those three little dots.
Okay.
And a menu will come up. And you can see where it says change layout.
Right.
And then you can change how if you want to see everybody on one screen, you can go with tiled, or you can go with sidebar, and everyone will move over to the side. And so you have different layouts there that you can change between if you want to do that.
I've got it on tiled.
Okay.
And I see seven rectangles, of which 3 have the phone logo with phone numbers, none of which are mine. And then 2 have a green circle with C, and then I see Lori and Dick.
Yeah. So over on the right, do you see where it says people and it says 8 and chat, and then it adds people? You don't see your image over there? You don't see yourself?
Oh, no, I do see my image.
There you are. Yeah, that's it.
We all set?
Yep.
Okay. I think everybody's on the call except for Joan. Joan, are you on the call? Okay.
And I think we lost Roger too. Roger was on, and I think he's gone now.
Okay. All right. Well, does someone want to make a motion to approve the minutes of May 20th, and then we'll do a roll call?
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from May 20th as written.
Want a second?
I'll second. This is Rob.
All right, Rob, second. All right, we'll do a roll call. I'm just going to go in whatever order. Dick?
Richard Valancourt, aye.
George?
I wasn't present. Well,
Okay.
oh,
Chris,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Roger, you back on? Up, that's
He's
him
got
right
it.
there.
oh, he's
Joan,
joining
are
now.
you on?
I'm on, yes.
Oh,
I
okay.
approve.
Looks
Rod-
like I'm back.
You approve the
Yeah,
minutes?
you're back. We can hear you.
For some reason, I lost my connection. It was crazy.
Okay. So Dick made a motion to approve the minutes. Do you vote in favor?
Yes, I vote in favor.
Okay,
Yes.
and I am a yes. So that
Yes,
passes
yes.
7-0. Okay, so the next agenda item is the long-term rental assistance program. So basically, why we wanted to start moving forward with this is because we're realizing through the short-term program that there is a need to provide additional funding to the long-term program. And just to remind everybody, so we currently in the town have a long-term rental assistance program that's administered by Greater Lawrence Community Action Council. We have the money that is used for that program are our home funds that come from the North Shore Home Consortium. We have used those funds for the last 2 years. It's approximately 40, sorry, I don't have the exact number, somewhere in the 40,000 range. We have pretty much expended, Greater Lawrence Community Action Council has pretty much expended all of those funds. I spoke with Evelyn Friedman, the director, and also one of the women over there that runs the short-term program, and they have indicated that there is definitely a need to provide more funding. Right now, so from Anne Mary Connor at Greater Lawrence Community Action Council, who's doing the short-term program for us, she has said that she has spoken to several of the renters that are on the short-term program, and at least 4 families who would be eligible for the program. There are at least 4 families in the short-term program that would be eligible for the long-term program because they were barely making rent to start. There's one that actually is about to have a child and she can't afford her rent. And when COVID came along, obviously her income decreased and she qualified for the short term, but she would be one of those, actually 4 families that Anne Mary believes could move on to this longer term program to help get them back on their feet. She's also spoken to the renters who are currently in the long-term program, and they have also been impacted by COVID. And so they're struggling a little bit and they could use an extension because the program ends in 12 months. So she had suggested that they would need to have an additional 6 months in the program to help them get on their feet because obviously this whole COVID thing that's been lasting longer than any of us hoped is causing a financial hardship and they're unable to gain that financial stability. So we know there's a need. I think I went over the numbers last time about how many people, what the average number dollar amount for a 12-month assistance would be. Let me just see if I can pull that up again. Let's see. So it ranged anywhere from just providing first, last, and security, which we did that for one of our applicants, which was $6,000, to providing rental assistance each month for 12 months. And the annual costs on that ranged from $8,181 to as high as $15,759. And right now, Well, this report that I have, then this is my fault. I should have asked for an updated report. This only shows 8 tenants right now, but I believe there are 10 that have been assisted with the current program. So Chris is working on the documents. We decide to move forward and additionally fund this, which we'll address that at another meeting. But as far as a contract with Greater Lawrence Community Action Council, but what's everyone's thoughts on providing additional funding or starting this program? Probably should call it additional funding because this will be actually separate from the home funds. But I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on whether you think this would be something that we should move forward with. What dollar amount do you think we should use? What does everyone think?
Well, are we anticipating additional home funds in this summer?
At some point, yes.
I mean, they sort of announce it in July and then it comes in the fall.
Yes.
Typically or historically, that's what's happened. So.
Oh, did I lose you guys? Hold on, sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can pull up the latest. I believe they sent a while ago just a heads up of what we would be receiving. Yeah, let's see. So this was back in March. I don't know if anything's changed.
Yeah.
But the last we heard for them was in March, and it looks like our total allocation would be 46,750.
Wow, that's an increase, isn't it?
By a couple thousand, I believe. It was
Oh, I thought we were in the 30,000 neighborhood.
Yeah,
But
I
again-
remember being in the high 30s.
yeah, this was I just lost it again. Hold on. So again, this was back in March. So I don't know when the actual funding comes down. If any of those will change, I don't know if they even could.
Well, okay. And then,
So what it said is attached to your reference in planning is the distribution of funds for the 2020 allocation. Says they'll be available as of July 1st. So we can certainly, let them know. We had already intended on using those funds for the rental assistance program anyway, but I don't think it will be enough.
well, I have another question.
Yep.
I've lost track of your numbers, Lori. What's the neighborhood or what's the ballpark estimate of money you're thinking the trust should contribute? Or the ballpark on the money that would be required to fund the long-term rental assistance program or to extend it?
So if we're going to go with the high number, just for sake of trying to estimate. So the high number was 15,759. Say we even went, I mean, if we went with 15, right, for a 12-year, 15,000 for 12 months, I mean, to cover the 12 months, and we know we have 4 people. We know that. That's 60,000 right there. Then you have some people who, those are new people that have come out as a result of the short-term program.
So
Then
that
you have,
excuse me, but that 15,000 number is a per family?
yes,
Yes.
15,000 per family is the assistance we anticipate?
well, it's the high number. So
I-
like I said, it ranges from $88,181 is the low to 15,759 is the high. So if we want to make sure that we definitely have enough funds, I'm just saying I took the
Okay.
high of 15,000
Right.
and we know we have 4 people. So that would be 60,000. Those are 4 new people. That doesn't address the people that are in the program currently. Now, the question I would have for North Shore is they have very strict rules, and I am not sure that they will allow the current people in the program to extend beyond 12 months. So it may be a situation that they will have to come out of the home program and come to ours, and we sort of flip-flop. The new people go into the home program. That's 60,000. We use 46 of the home program for the new people. And then we provide the funds, you know, with our separate program for the people who are currently in it. That's if they don't allow it to be extended.
Right. Well,
So we know we're at
what's the-
least a minimum of probably 60,000.
What's the number on the existing people in the program already, Lori?
The total,
Yeah. And the annualized total.
well, the number I have is 89,504. And again, I apologize because I didn't realize, this is from December. I believe they've helped one more person since then. I didn't ask for an updated amount, and I should have.
So is that December through June, or is that a full year?
Well, it depends. I mean,
Okay.
this is where the money has gone so far. So, like, for example, a start date was from August of 19 to July of 20. Another one was from October to September. Another one was from December to, you know, so it depends on when they apply. But as
Okay.
of right now, with all the funding that they've received, they had a small balance of like under 10,000. So between if we were to put 50 in and North Shore, the home funds were making up 40, we'd be close to the 100,000, which is what they have expended to date, with not helping 9 families.
Lori, could we take a step back? Am I correct in assuming that the use of these funds meet the trust's objectives?
Yes,
So, okay, well, I mean, rental assistance doesn't create or preserve affordable housing. It's a subsidy to a landlord.
right, but we can use CPC funds, which does allow it.
Okay, this long-term, I have trepidation over a long-term commitment for long-term rental assistance. It's a very expensive program to get involved with on a long-term basis.
Right, it's 15,000 a family for a year.
And what you're suggesting, Laurie, is that we give it a lump sum of money. And
Correct.
is it in perpetuity, or is it just a one-time funding that we would provide for this program? Or
Oh, I was
we'd
just
revisit it
suggesting-
every year?
Yeah,
We'd
I was just
revisit it.
suggesting a one-time
Yeah, okay.
funding, and when it's gone, it's gone. Similar to what the home fund is.
Yeah, right.
And the need is there because of the COVID situation? Why did this bubble up and why are we addressing it now, I guess?
Well, the need's been there. but we've been able to get the funding from North Shore. And the problem is that now we're discovering that there's more of a need because we advertised this program for the short-term assistance during COVID, and apparently people didn't know that there was a long-term rental assistance program already in place, and now they've come forward that there is a need for a long-term program than just the 3-month COVID.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, hi all, this is Chris. My thought on this is that, apparently there is a need, and, I think an argument's going to be made that probably in the next year or two, there's probably going to be more need just as a, result of COVID. And I certainly see the point that, it is a lot of money per household, but, kind of diversifying, I guess, our portfolio, like investing into a program where we're going to be assisting homeowners, assisting temporary, tenants temporarily, and then also adding on somewhat long-term rental assistance, I think arguably does help preserve affordable housing in North Andover. So, I think the time is probably right for at least us to test this, and, maybe after a year, we find out it might not be worth it. We could better utilize our funds for some other program. But for now, I think we have enough cash in the trust to contemplate this program, at least in the ballpark numbers we're talking about.
This is Roger. That was my question. Next question was, Rob, what do we have left in the for funds? Where are we? Ballpark.
Most recent statement I have the end of March is $767,000.
Okay.
And that's after all of the money that we've given to the short-term rental assistance program also. So that's still what we have in the balance. And is that including this year's CPA money?
There is $105,000 going out for the rental assistance. And I believe the CPA money came in. I don't have the CPA.
So it's almost a wash, right? 105 and 100 coming in. So it's pretty much a
Yeah,
wash.
the CPA money wouldn't be in because we just had town meeting. So it doesn't come until July 1st.
Right. But it is coming. So
tomorrow.
So when you said the 752, did you include that CPA money, or is that the CPA money on top of that 752?
Yeah, this is from a month or so ago. I apologize. I don't have the. So 767 does not include the CPA fund, so it's 867 apparently.
Right, 867 with the 105 already gone out for the short term.
Right.
Pretty healthy balance.
Yes.
So, I mean, back to your question, Rob, about whether the trust is even can do this. I was looking at the declaration of trust, and it does allow us to disperse funds for the purposes of making loans or grants in furtherance of the creation or preservation of affordable housing. So, I mean, I think it falls under that. I would question how in the past, and this was before, if it doesn't, then I would question how in the past, which was before my time, the trust was able to do first-time homebuyer programs without putting a restriction on.
I don't think the trust did first-time homebuyer. That was the Housing Partnership Committee using either home money or community preservation money.
Okay. Well, in any case, we have community preservation money coming in on tomorrow that it can be used for rental assistance. That I do know.
Okay.
Well, the lawyer in me questions Lloyd, but I thought that last month or two meetings ago, I thought this issue was raised. The question was asked: are we limited to developing new affordable housing? In other words, are we prevented from doing rental assistance? And we somehow came up with an answer of yes, we could do rental assistance. I don't remember what the rationale was, except I think that
I think that was the emergency COVID stuff, wasn't it?
Well, I guess that's what we were talking about, was the short-term rental assistance program, which, yeah, is an emergency program for COVID.
And we had received explicit guidance, if I recall correctly, from CHAPA. Somebody was giving us some guidance on that, weren't they, Laura?
Yeah.
Yes,
And
Yep.
so maybe what we should do, or I wonder, this is a question, is any motion that we pass today would be worded as augmenting the short-term fund to extend the 3-month limitation that we had on it before. Wouldn't that do the same thing? If we allowed the short-term people to extend for another 3 months or 6 months,
I guess we'd have to vote to amend the guidelines, but the problem is then we're turning it into a long-term program.
well,
I thought we wanted to keep them separate.
another thing is we should just go ahead and do what we want to do, and then we can check the legality afterwards. If we learn we're wrong, then we won't do it again or something like that.
What kind of a lawyer are you, George?
Yeah. I would say a pragmatic lawyer.
There you go.
An uneducated, pragmatic lawyer.
Well, I think that, we already know that you can use CPC funds for rental assistance.
Well, that's true too.
And
Well,
we're getting,
except that technically, if the CPC money puts the money into our trust fund, is it still CPC money?
yes, because the money that because we have to report to the CPC every year of how the money was spent.
Oh, okay.
So
That solves the problem.
we have to comply. They're very adamant about reminding people that when you use CPC funds, you have to comply with the CPC rules.
Okay, maybe that was that our justification for the short term
Yes,
for a couple months ago or a couple meetings ago, that we were using last year's CPC money?
yes.
Oh, okay.
At least that's how it's being, that was my intent on reporting it, was that it was how the CPC were used.
I'll sign up for that explanation, and that should keep us out of jail.
I can certainly get a legal opinion on it. On the Affordable Housing Trust.
Well, you
I mean,
handed a long time ago, I think within a year, but many meetings ago, you distributed essentially a legal opinion that was written by some other affordable housing trust. And that my takeaway from that document was that we had to spend money on developing affordable housing, which included rehab, but it had to be generating affordable housing that wouldn't have been generated if the money had not been extended. And
Well, I guess the question is, when it's a rental property, how do you as a trust create affordable rental property if you can't do this kind of program?
after the meeting, I'm going to try to dig through my files and see if I can find that document. And if I do, I'll send out a précis.
Well, if we're going to take a conservative view on this, we can certainly get a legal opinion, and perhaps we can get the approval of the Board of Selectmen
Right.
to disperse
We have
the
to do
funds
that anyway.
for this program. Yeah. So, well, right. So that may address the issue there, so you get the approval.
And then also, I don't want to hang up this meeting because I think we're using CPC money, so there's no question, there's no legal question, no legal potential problem.
Yeah, and I would agree. At the scale we're talking, I just if I can see down the road this potentially ramping up, and I just want to express some concern. But at the dollars we're talking with CPC funds, it appears to be a fit as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I mean, I also feel like if we're not using the CPC funds, then, at some point they may not give them to us anymore.
Right.
Because I know Joan has brought a property forward that Justinia looked at, and it's just doing things with bread and roses the way we used to. It's just not. It's not affordable. I mean, if we want to spend $250,000 per property, sure, we can move forward with looking at properties.
That's a lot of money. Yeah.
But it's a lot of money for one unit. Joan, do you remember what Justinia said on that one? Oh, did we lose Joan?
Yes, I'm here. I was muted. Yes, I showed her the property at 7 Belmont Street, which was on the market for $284.9, I believe it was, something like that. And Joe Levis came with us, and after he predicted that the cost of what it would take to bring it up to code and so on and so forth and update it, it was too much money for Yesenia to invest in. And it was probably going to be over $200,000 to work on it. So it just didn't work out. And I feel as though she's being more cautious with the properties now and not going forward.
Yeah, properties are just they're just too expensive.
That's right.
I'm just pulling
It's
up.
sold over asking price, by the way. It's sold for $302,000.
Right, so she needed to,
She needed too much money from us.
she needed like 250. I'm just trying to find the amount. But in any case, that's kind of what we're up against.
Right.
Hey, George, not to get too far off the subject here, but did I read that Habitat for Humanity did a project with the Andover Housing Trust?
Yeah, we're doing
They
it
did.
now with the Andover Community Trust.
They had free land.
Is that at South Church?
It wasn't free.
Well,
It
wasn't expensive either, from what I understand.
well, depends on what year.
George, is that the project at South Church?
Yes,
Yeah.
But they're,
on Lupine Road.
Yeah.
yeah, and they're also getting several units out of it.
Well,
Right?
what do you? I mean, Habitat is building 4 units, and the Andover Community Trust is building 2 units. And all of the land is going to be owned by the Andover Community Trust. The Habitat homeowners will be paying a land lease fee to ACT.
And is that a structure we could use in North Andover?
Sure.
Yeah, if we had a vacant piece of land we could find.
Yeah, if we had the right land.
So to do that Belmont Street house, they were looking for $270,000 from the trust.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Yep.
For one unit?
Yep.
Yes.
For
Yeah.
a single family home.
Very small home.
I'm sorry, what, Joan? A very what home?
Small. It had less than 1,000 square feet.
Oh.
So you guys want to bring this up at the next meeting, which I don't anticipate will be until after the summer's over. Do you want to agree, take a vote to fund it with the CPC funds from this year's town meeting, or a portion of the funds, if we're getting the home funds of 40, yeah.
you said that, we need about $50,000, is that correct? We have to fund 50,000 because we're going to get it from, the home, money as well?
No, so
No?
I was saying we have 4 people that have been identified. If we
Right.
took the high end number of
Yeah, I get that.
15,000,
Right.
so that would be 60,000. But that
Mhm.
doesn't include the people that are already on the short-term program that they've identified that they want to extend for 6 months. So,
Did you mean short-term or long-term?
Oh, it's $100,000.
well, if you take in consideration the home funds, if you just take the 4 people that they've identified at the high end, you've got 60,000. If we take into
Correct.
consideration the home funds of 45,
Correct.
right? We're down to 15, but then that doesn't include the people who need to be extended for 6 months on the short-term program. So, I mean, I would suggest from our funds, I would suggest 50,000. And then you have the home funds at 46. You also have to remember, we have to decide on an administration fee. That's got to come out of it. That always comes out of the home funds too.
So if someone made a motion to spend 60,000 of, the CBC money, would that help?
Yeah, are you making that motion?
Yeah.
Well, I'm asking, yes, I am.
Okay.
And
Does somebody want a second and then we can discuss?
well,
I'll second it.
second it. And my
Okay.
first comment would be that I don't think the motion needs to say that we're CPC money. That's just our well,
I think we want to use the CP money
We do.
well, yeah, okay.
so that we can back and get more.
Well, I second the motion, and part of the reason I was thinking, well, just it's a short, well, presumably we'll be meeting again in the fall, September, October, and this money should last at least until then. Would you agree with that, Lori, or?
What is it?
Well, this money will last at least until, this money is adequate for at least until the fall. It might not last 6 months or a year. Might not be adequate for the programs to go for 6 months or a year, but it's adequate to get them through the summer.
Well, the program in and of itself is a 12-month program. So we're talking 2 different things. One, the long-term where they've identified 4 families, that's a 12-month program.
Yeah.
So if we fund those minimum 4 families, that'll take care of them for a year. But if any new families come along,
Well, Lori, wait
it's a
minute.
rolling thing. You can't just say it's going to be enough to get us to the fall. Like, it's a rolling thing. We don't know. These, 2 months from now, they could move out of town. I don't know.
Well, let me stop you there. My understanding was that there are some people currently on the long-term program
There are.
who appear to need a 6-month extension.
That is correct.
So how
There are
many of
also
those
4
people? How many of
There
those
are
people are there?
I don't know. She didn't specify the number. The only number she specified was the 4 families that definitely need the year-long program. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm reading this wrong. She actually estimates the need to extend everybody that was in the short-term program. That's a lot of people.
Wow.
That's a lot of people. She said, we will be seeking. Oh, I'm sorry. These are the people that are currently on the long-term program. So we have 8 people on the long-term program already that need to be extended. And we have identified at least 4 families on the short-term program that could benefit from the long-term.
12 total, yep. Okay.
Sorry, I read that wrong.
So does that impact the dollar need?
What?
So does that impact the dollar need, or are we still thinking at the $50,000 level for assessment? I'm sorry, I thought you said the numbers changed of the need to the families.
So if we were extending it for 6 months, that would be half the amount that currently it costs, which they have roughly around 90. So that would be 45, right? For the current if we were to extend all the current families that are on the long-term program, that's 45. And then if we were to have 4 new families enter the program at the high number, that would be 60. So 105 seems to be our number.
Yeah.
But you have to remember, there's also got to be the admin fee, and then we'll have the home funds. So I think 60 will probably be okay.
Laurie,
But
I don't
again,
recall
that only serves the current people that we're aware of. Doesn't mean that somebody in December can come along and try to get into the long-term program if the funds are gone.
Laurie, quick question. What, I don't recall, what is the management fee? Is it 3.5%, 4%? I forget.
So originally it was 3%, and then we found out that was extremely inadequate.
Too low, okay.
Yeah, so when we did the short-term program, the additional funding, we ended up making it a total of 7.5%.
Okay,
But they were currently, and they still are, I don't know if Home's going to change their agreement, but with the home fund, they were only getting 3%, which is what we based ours on.
right.
But
right.
then after talking to the MHP, the Mass Housing, she was like, oh no, that's so low. It's usually between 10 and 20% or something like that.
Yes,
So
yeah,
we averaged it out and
Okay.
did 7.5. So I would stick with that.
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
But, so Lori, didn't quite follow. So you said the 7.5% is the management fee that we can think of or use in planning for going forward?
I would.
Okay.
I mean, it seems reasonable.
Yeah, it does seem very reasonable.
I did forward everyone the email from Shelley. Sorry, I don't remember exactly the numbers she said, except that ours was really low. Let me see. Yeah, she said, from what she's hearing, program administration can be 10 to 20%.
20%, wow.
So. What do we want?
Great, so the motion on the table is long-term rental assistance, using $45,000 of home money and $50,000 of the trust funds originating from the CPC funds to fund the long-term rental assistance.
So it's 60,000.
60,000, I beg your pardon.
Yep, and we don't control the home fund, so that's not our issue. So it's just to fund the long-term rental assistance program. 60,000 from the CPC funds we'll be receiving tomorrow.
So that doesn't do anything for the 4 families that are currently receiving short-term rental assistance.
But the home funds are going to be, we don't control the home funds, but I'm already telling you the home funds are going to go there. The town has already decided that we're going to send the home funds to continue the program.
Oh, okay.
So a total that that Greater Lawrence Community Action Council will be receiving will be the 60,000 from us and the 46 or whatever the amount was from home funds. Okay, is there any more discussion on it? We ready for a vote?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we'll do a roll call. Dick,
Richard Valencourt, aye.
George,
George says aye.
Chris? Chris?
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Yes, that's a yes
Okay.
for me.
Rob?
Yes.
Joan?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
And I am a yes, so that is unanimous. Perfect. Okay. So the next item on the agenda is to vote to appoint a member of the Master Plan Implementation Committee. So I sent you guys the mission statement and the membership and the duties. We are the last board that has not appointed their rep yet. So we really need to do that tonight because they want to get the committee together and meeting. I don't suspect the meetings will be more than once a month, probably even longer than that, depending on the progress of the town, right? Do you agree with that, Dick?
Yeah, I would think so, yeah. It's not going to be that strenuous.
Mm-mm. So, who wants it?
I'm going to recuse myself because I believe there's already a member of the Board of Selectmen on there.
There is.
So I'm not up for this one.
You're the
Wait, is
selectman
that you?
representative, Dick?
No, it's not me. No, I believe it's
Oh.
Chris Nobley.
Everyone, this is Chris. Last time we spoke about this, I thought this is something I'd potentially be interested in, or more so than interested in, capable of doing. Just with COVID-19 and my work commitments, it's hard for me to commit to anything further beyond what I'm working on now. So as much as I'm interested, I don't think I have the capacity at this moment.
That's understandable. Does anybody else want to step up? Perhaps you could do it for, a year or beginning, and then if you decide it's not for you, maybe another member could step in if Chris's schedule opens up.
Yeah.
Well, I will
This,
volunteer because I know I'm the only one on this committee that doesn't have a day job. But I'm reluctant to accept more responsibility, but I'll take it because of the said I don't have a day job.
Thank you, George.
Well, thank you, George. I appreciate that.
And I guess maybe I'm going to write my resignation letter effective a year from now or something.
Somebody want to make a motion?
Oh, funny.
A motion we appoint George Kola to the Master Plan Implementation Committee as the Affordable Housing Trust representative
I second it.
Okay, we'll do a
for
roll
1
call.
year. I'm going to add an amendment for 1 year.
Okay, so we'll do the roll call. Dick,
Yes.
George,
Yeah. Yes.
Reluctantly, yes.
I'm reluctant. Yes.
Chris,
I'm a yes as well, but I will say, George, thank you so much. I honestly think that you'll bring a lot of value to this implementation committee. But beyond that, if things do change in the near future, I'll let you know. So if the commitments are a little too much for you, then I'm happy to take over.
All right. Well, thank you.
Rob,
yes.
Joan,
Yes.
And Roger?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Congratulations, George. You are our new rep on the Master Plan Implementation Committee.
Thank you,
Thanks, George.
George. Thanks, George.
Yes. Thanks again, George.
I expect to get a hat that says Member of Implementation Committee or something.
I will let Andrew Shapiro know.
We need hats.
The last item on the agenda is to vote to elect a chair. For those of you that were on the committee last year, I had said that I would do this for one more year. The Board of Selectmen likes to have our boards and committees switch their chairs. So I am now done with my second year.
Lori,
So
I think you've done a great job, and I certainly would nominate you.
well, I'm hoping somebody else will want to step up to the plate.
Well, if somebody does, that's fine with me, but it's,
And I believe I need to recuse myself again as a member of the Board of Selectmen. I don't think I can be the chair of this board, so I'm out.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Oh, Laurie, stop.
You've been
Have
the
to
chair
say-
before, weren't you? No?
What's that?
Weren't you the chair before?
no, Dick. And Dick,
I'm
you're
a
someone
new guy.
responsible for driving her to step down, so I think you should take her place, since you're,
I don't think anybody can take Laurie's place. That's for sure. So I heard Chris say you've got too much going on. Is that what I heard, Chris? Chris would be my first choice, but you've got a lot going on. Well, not my first choice, but he would be, yeah, my first choice. I'll say that.
Thank you, Vic. Yeah, you know, I do have commitments that are just kind of spilling into my personal life right now, but you know, another aspect, I would be interested, certainly in Laurie. I think whoever takes over will have really, really, really big shoes to fill, and we'll probably be asking for your guidance in any case. But I would also have to look into conflicts of interest issues, just because I do work for a state agency. So, I mean, if no one else wants to nominate themselves or nominate someone else, if we could hold this vote for the next meeting, at least I could look into this myself. I just didn't have a chance to do it since I saw the meeting agenda.
I'm fine with that. Like I
Lori,
said,
are you anxious to step down if it wasn't the policy of the selectmen to rotate board chairman? Would you be content, or would you be happy continuing on as chairperson?
I think it's hard because I feel like I'm secretary and chair. So
Well,
it's not just being a chair, I'm also doing the minutes regardless of who's the chair. And I post the agendas because of my position here in the town. I think I do more than the normal chair. But, you know, I mean, obviously I'd still do it if nobody wanted to step up, but I'd like to see somebody else step up. I mean, if Chris thinks that he might be able to do it, then, you know, sure, we can continue for the next, you know, until the next meeting, or, you know, maybe we elect a vice chair, and I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm okay with doing it, but I do feel like, I don't know, maybe then we should have a secretary who takes the minutes and does the minutes.
and I gather we can't use Jean or Bonnie in that role, which is what they used to come. At least Bonnie used to come to take minutes.
Yeah, but we're trying to get away from having staff members attend after hours meetings.
Yeah,
So
okay.
like the way it is, you know, and we're not recorded, so it works for the bigger boards that are filmed, because then, yeah, during the day, they can watch the meeting and take the notes. But where we typically, you know, I mean, we've been meeting earlier because I think everybody's available earlier with everything that's going on, plus we're doing it virtual. If we start doing in-person meetings and we, start meeting at 6 again, we really don't want a staff member having to stay overtime to take the minutes.
So I would be fine with waiting, and maybe we can schedule a meeting Chris, how long do you think it would take for you to get an answer for the, the conflict of interest question? And maybe we can just schedule another meeting, a short one, in the next couple of weeks to elect a new chair, if that's the case. Either way, we can go with Chris if he's available to do it without a conflict. If not, we can think about having Laurie go for another year and also electing a secretary or appointing someone to take minutes. Just my thought.
I like your thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good thinking, Dick.
So, I mean, I don't anticipate any need to really meet until towards the end of August. I mean, everybody's, July is usually an off month anyway, and hopefully we'll be getting back to normal meetings towards the end of the summer, beginning of the fall. So we can table it until the next meeting, and we'll just decide, at the beginning of August when that meeting will be, or.
That sounds like a plan.
Yep, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds good. And in the meantime, I'll check in with the Ethics Commission just to see what they have to say. My concern is not necessarily serving in that role, but if ever the trust was to communicate or have an agent communicate to a state agency on behalf of the trust, there would be some issues there. I don't think I'd be able to take on that capacity. So I think the question would be, what would the process be if that's, if something like that ever was to happen? But I'll certainly look into it and report back to folks. The other issue for me, again, is just the capacity of being able to do it. And I think in the next couple of months, hopefully, fingers crossed, things should die down a little bit more. So meeting either late summer or early fall to discuss, I think, probably makes a lot of sense.
Okay, well, I appreciate your willingness to look into that, Chris, and possibly step up and take over.
Sure. I think the caveat will be, Laurie, that you be available, just in case for for questions and feedback, which I know you're more than willing and happy to do. But I don't know if we actually did get any responses from folks, if anyone else would be interested in serving the chairperson role.
No, we did not get responses.
Yeah, I'm not sure I have the bandwidth either. I probably, or I certainly could help out taking the notes, I guess, or taking the minutes. I beg your pardon. If that structure works better for everybody, if I'm at the meeting, I'm happy to take the notes. But I just don't think I have the bandwidth, not working in the area, to take on the additional commitment.
This is Roger. I certainly don't have any extra bandwidth. I'm out straight, crazy, busy. I barely can fit this meeting in, to be honest with you.
Okay. All right, so why don't we just table it till the next meeting, and then actually, does someone want to make a motion to table? Do we? I mean, we don't really need to do that anyway. We can just not take any action on it.
Right.
All right, so I will touch base with everybody the beginning of August. We can set up a new our next meeting. I think that's it. Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay,
Dick Valancourt, yes.
George,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. So once again, unanimous. All right, thank you, everyone. Have
Thank
a good
you.
night.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Happy 4th of
Have a
July.
great 4th.
Yeah,
Happy
happy
4th.
4th, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.